Hello and welcome to the Horror Hour, the show where we discuss, debate, and disagree on all things horror. I am one of your hosts, George, and today it is just me and good old Yutaka.
Hello.
Ben is busy. Ben is busy. I love that. That's alliteration, BB. So we thought we'd just jump on and do an episode together today so that you don't miss out. We're going to talk about American Horror Story double feature. We're going to give our thoughts on it so far, what we think about the characters, the settings, the stories, where we think it might go. And yeah, just a real casual episode today. We just want, something you can listen to while you're baking your pumpkin spice latte cakes, because it's almost September when we're recording this, but it'll be September by the time it comes out, which I'm so excited about. Literally counting the days. Anyway, let's just get into this. It's American Horror Story season 10. Yutaka, overall thoughts so far? I mean, right now, just FYI, when we're recording this part, the first two episodes have just come out. So yeah. I don't like that sigh.
I know. Well, I enjoyed it, but of course, I feel like Ryan Murphy's kind of still flatlining. Like the story was okay, and I love the characters. That little girl, though, she annoys the hell out of me.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I was ready for her to die. Not that she has. I'm just ready for it. But yeah, I was just. I don't know. I'm like, we're doing this again. And I forgot who made the joke. It just feels like it's Ryan Murphy's version of Salem Lot with the setting of Provincetown. So he could actually just sprinkle in gay characters here and there. Because that's Ryan Murphy. So always the same guys.
Always stereotypical as well.
So I'm mixed. I will say right now my favorite character is probably Ursula, because that phone call cracked me up. I was dying.
You're a Leslie Grossman fan.
I am. So that's where I am. I'm just mixed. I'm still going to keep watching because I think next week will be Angelica Ross, and I really can't wait to see her. And Billy Lord's character was fun, but again, I was still like,
yeah. I'm not like, I don't want to sit here and be like, this is the greatest series that's ever happened. I feel there is a different tone this series in terms of the cinematography. It seems a lot more darker and things, which I do like. I think it really, the tone feels different. And obviously it's a new setting. A lot of them tend to be California based, like around like that type of feel. I think a lot of them, or I mean, I suppose obviously, New Orleans, whatever. But, for the most part, when I think of American Horror Story, I kind of think of like LA. So this was really nice to kind of get a sort of environment where it felt quite creepy, because my parents went to Provincetown actually before the pandemic of 2019. Went to Boston. They did the whole Cape Cod, and they're saying like how beautiful it was. And I was telling them about this show actually yesterday. Mum was like, "Oh, I have to watch it," because they want to see all the places. But I was saying about how cool, because when they show me the images, it's so beautiful and picturesque.
Yes.
But this in the autumn or the fall, like in this weather, it looked really like quite decrepit, and that's the vibe, and I kind of like that. So yeah, I like the setting. I'm intrigued about the story. It's like sort of obviously. I mean, I don't know what they obviously probably aren't going to give a name to these creatures by the sounds of it. Maybe they will. But from the sounds of it, it's because it's this pill. I mean, maybe we will when we meet the chemist and find out what's inside them. Maybe there may be some sort of, I don't know. But I think they're kind of cool. They give me like, what's it? Nostradamus,
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu vibes. So I kind of dig that. But yeah, I don't I mean, I'm really at this point just here for one reason.
Evan Peters,
of course, and he didn't.
He came on screen, and you're like, "Oh my god, this is the best thing ever!"
I was like, he was like singing, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "This is it. I'm in love." But no, I really loved him. And what's the name of the character though? Actually, I just want to check.
We're so prepared.
I know we are. Belle Noire, sorry. Or Sarah.
Oh, okay. I do love her. Her and I should also just pull up the characters.
I just pulled up the cast names. So while Yutaka pulls them up, we will just go through them briefly. So we have Sarah Paulson as tuberculosis Karen, Evan Peters as Austin Summers, Lily Rabe as Doris Gardner, Finn Ritrock as Harry Gardner, Frances Conroy as Sarah Belnoir Cunningham, Billy Lord as Leslie Lark Feldman, Leslie Grossman as Ursula, Adina Porter as Chief Burleson, Angelica Ross as the chemist, Macaulay Culkin as Mickey, and Ryan Kieran Armstrong as Alma Gardner, who's obviously the daughter. And then we'll also be having some recurring characters who obviously aren't in it yet. Dennis O'Hare as Holden, and Robin.
I thought Dennis O'Hare had a quick scene.
Did he? Because I saw somebody.
Wasn't he on the beach?
I must have missed that because I saw somebody post the picture and I was like, I didn't see that unless it was in a promo for next week.
Oh, maybe that might be it.
I don't know though. I'll have to go back and watch it again. Robin Wager as Martha, and Chad Michaels is going to be in this as well. So
wait, Chad, drag queen Chad Michaels?
Mm-hmm.
Well, suddenly I might like this show.
Because I'd heard a rumor when they were filming that Evan Peters' character becomes a drag queen or is a drag queen in it. But maybe it was
Shut up.
That's what I'd heard, and that's why, yeah. Because it was, I'm sure I saw a set photo. Sorry for spoilers.
I'm just telling you right now, George, you may be selling me more on the season.
I heard that. Whether that was just, that's from one of my sources. Obviously, I can't reveal who they are. But
Reddit.
Yeah, I definitely know Chad Michaels is in part 1. I could see Austin Summers. I can kind of see, he seems quite flowy in gender and sexuality, the character. So I could see that. At first, I thought he was dating Belle Noire because they had a really she was talking about that's not the kind of D that I like, and then they kind of looked at each other, but maybe they were just best friends, which I do like their relationship. I think it's really cool and interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing more of them. I think for me, they are the two most interesting characters. I couldn't really. I love Lily Rabe, but she's not giving me too much at the moment. The daughter, I couldn't care less about. And sorry, but Finn, he seems really nice. But I don't need the shine in part 3. So and that's what this is going to be. So, I mean, look, we'll see. Obviously, at this point, as I say, we're only 2 episodes in. We haven't decided yet, guys. This might be edited out later, but we might continue this with a 3rd episode, but we haven't decided exactly. So right now we've only seen 2 episodes, but we'll inform you if this continues on what episode we're talking about. But yeah, for me, I really like Macaulay Culkin as well. It was really nice to see him back on the screen. He was quite funny, I thought.
He was, oh my god, the whole fraudage comment, and
yeah.
I really liked Macaulay Culkin. I think it's nice to see, like you said, nice to see him back on the screen, and I feel like he was relishing every scene he was in.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I just enjoyed Mickey so much.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how they did Sarah Paulson dirty with tuberculosis Karen?
I've seen all the memes about this is what happened. This is what Ryan Murphy did because Sarah Paulson said she doesn't like Roanoke. He's like, here you go. Yeah, this was.
Oh god, Roanoke was so bad.
I loved Roanoke, and I won't hear a word about it. I think
it was shit.
It was great. It was the most. It was compared to what the first 5 seasons were. That took the format and changed it up. Whether you liked it or not, it gave you something new, and the fact that they never revealed what the story was, and you just kind of watch it. And I always remember watching that first episode being like, what the hell? There was no opening intro. I loved I love found footage, so for me, that kind of vibe.
I can't believe you enjoyed Roanoke when they killed off Evan Peters so quickly.
Yes, but he had some great scenes while he was there, so I was quite happy with those. But I mean, I'm hoping I'm just looking at the cast list for part 2 actually, and I'm not seeing his name, which is bothersome. But Sarah
Suddenly
Paulson
George hates this.
Part 1 will be like my favorite. Part 2 will be like Death Valley is the second. But I'm looking forward to part 2. I've always wanted the aliens back, so let's see. But also, I would like to mention that I thought this was supposed to be about sirens because Ryan Murphy did that whole, I don't know if you saw it, like
the poll,
yeah, and sirens won because I was like, I don't want fucking sirens.
Was it sirens? I thought it was mermaids that won.
Yeah, mermaids are sirens, aren't they? They're the same thing.
I guess.
Sirens are just like, well, sirens are like the fish people. Maybe this is what they are. Maybe they are fish people. I don't know. They just that's the only thing that kind of takes me out of it is everything else is quite what's the word I'm looking for? Like the not the environment. What's the word I'm looking for? The atmosphere. The atmosphere is quite creepy. But when those things turn up, they just kind of take me out of it a bit. They just like it. They're all like, shaking about. If you can't see that, go and check out the video on our YouTube channel. But they yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, they are creepy.
Yes,
but they're just
like
very...
you said, though, they look like Nosferatu.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're going the vampire route, it's like, oh my god, great. But
obviously, but then I suppose maybe these will be, where they're not, because obviously we've done vampires in Hotel. Well, they weren't vampires. It was an ancient blood curse, whereas this is a pill now.
Yeah, but that requires them to drink blood.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just trying to say in terms of, it's not like you're bitten and then become, or you taste their, because in Hotel they taste the vampire blood and then they become vampires, whereas in this they take the pill, but then they're just required to drink.
They're required to drink, but and they're fine if they have talent.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like,
but if they don't, they turn into those soulless whatever. Yeah.
I would like a bit more information on that. Maybe we'll get more when it comes to meeting Angelica Ross. Obviously, she's the one who created the pill, so I would like a bit more backstory on that and what the reason is behind it, and not just, I don't want it to be a MacGuffin and it's just, that's just how it is. That's just a bit random. But
I mean, it's Ryan Murphy. Sometimes he does sometimes he's really great, and sometimes he's really like, all right, and we're just watching because we want to see how it ends. And so for me, that's where I'm at right now. It could become better.
The thing with American Horror Story is when you are like, I'm just watching it to see how it ends. I can't really remember the last time we had a decent
American Horror Story.
I will tell you right now, the best ending of American Horror Story was season 1. With that, with Killing Nerve in the background, and the nanny cut up and Jessica Lange walking. And I remember thinking, oh my god, and maybe it was just because I know we all hate Murder House now apparently, but I know Ryan Murphy's been dragging it for all it's worth. But that first series, though, I'm not talking about it the future of it and what it's been through. I'm talking about that first series. That ending was kind of cool. American Horror Story, Asylum, that made me cry like a baby when I cry at everything. But when Jessica Lange died, oh my god, I was in tears, and she was like, Thomas, no picking your nose. Oh, just makes me cry thinking about it. That's if I ever want to make myself cry, I always watch that. I filmed a monologue for something once, a self-tape, and I watched that before because it was an emotional thing to get me to cry. So Ryan Murphy, you did well there. Oh, actually, Coven was a fantastic, that ending. I mean, Coven, I'm a Coven whore, so I love Coven.
Coven was great. Asylum could have been great, but it was too
busy.
For me, they just added way too much. Like, you're doing too much, man. You're doing too much.
It's because I feel like, obviously, and I remember when they announced it, they're like, this is going to be the biggest season yet, because obviously Murder House was set in like basically one location with a small cast, and that was kind of nice. And then they were like, oh, we want to go big or go home with this. And so they created this really large, which I think helped because it kind of started the building of the universe. Because before then, we didn't really know it was good. I didn't anyway, that it was going to be one universe. Like, I just thought it would be
very
separate.
true. I love that they're doing that. But
I think it was it was Freak Show, wasn't it, when they announced that Pepper would be in that, and we were like, oh. And obviously kind of, well, with Montgomery and Monica, I was going to say then. What's her name? What's Emma's character name in Asylum? Madison, not Monica.
Oh, no, that's not her.
Yeah, it is. Madison Montgomery, yeah. And
Montgomery was in an asylum.
No, but she was in. I was talking about how it started building.
Oh, yes,
world,
yes,
and
yes,
Montgomery was obviously the family who'd built the murder house. Anyway, so I've gone off on a tangent there, but we're just talking about endings in general of American Horror Story. But I really liked Coven. That was really cool. But I mean, just that I could listen to la 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 like all day. So Freak Show was nice. It was kind of a bittersweet ending.
I will say the one thing I loved about Freak Show was the clown.
Yeah.
That was just...
Freak Show felt so long. I don't know if it was just me. Freak Show and Hotel felt like the longest. I do like Hotel, but those two felt like the longest. Maybe they were. Maybe they had one more episode, but
those monsters are going to come after you.
I'm a monster. I was so excited when, actually, to be fair, when she was announced, I was so excited, and I do love Lady Gaga. And then I loved the shade but I just love Jessica Lange. And when she threw that shade, have you seen that when they're talking about series 1 to 4 at one of the conventions? So they're all there. It's such a good moment. And obviously season 5 has been announced with Lady Gaga. And one of the panelists says, you know, obviously now that Lady Gaga's been announced for series 5, does that make you want to stay? And she just goes like, well, no, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Like, I was just so shady. I was like, even though I love Lady Gaga, I was like, bitch, to be fair. I was looking forward, I had a thing with Jessica Lange where I was like, obviously, I really love her. I think she's fantastic. And then towards the end, I was like, yeah, do you know what? I understand that she wants to go in this, it's time to give some other people like, the front space. Absolutely agree. And I was like, yeah, let's time, I said, because I remember when Hotel was announced, and it was literally like the advertising and marketing for it was American Horror Story, Lady Gaga. Basically, like they even I remember it used to be like true. They even switched like on one of the things, like it flickered between Hotel and Lady Gaga, and that's fine because that was a selling point, and they wanted to get those monsters involved, and I think they did. And I remember people going, "Oh, this is all about Lady Gaga," and I was like, "Okay, yeah, but let's not pretend that series 1 to 4 wasn't the Jessica Lange show, which is fine, but let's not pretend that it wasn't that." Then ever since then, after series 6 onward, like series 7, I was kind of like, I need her back. So when she came back, Jessica Lange, I'm talking about, sorry, for that, those 2 episodes in series 8, which are probably the best episodes. That was beautiful. But yeah, I think, sorry, we went off on a wave tangent there because I was talking about endings. As I say, I think with American Horror Story, endings have never been his strongest suit. There have been some good ones, but there have also been some ones where you're like, the last episode, they just are like, quick, let's just end everything quickly in 40 minutes. And you're like Apocalypse was a clear example of that. I was so excited for Apocalypse. And look, I think a lot
of us were.
I still enjoy Apocalypse. I still do enjoy it. But for me, I remember talking about it when it was out and the episodes were coming out, and I was thinking, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. I can see the ending. And actually, Billie Lourd's character isn't actually the next Supreme. She's actually a guardian angel or an archangel, and she's going to fight the devil, and there's going to be this cool scene at the house, and it's going to be, and then they were just kind of like, she ran him over.
No, right. And that was it. I was like, what?
And I was like, oh, that kind of feel like I felt like I was getting ran over there, because I was kind of like, that really, they could have been, there's so much potential. But I think that's the thing. He opens a can of worms sometimes and leaves you with all these thoughts, and then just doesn't add any, execute it. He's just kind of like, well, I'll just leave them there. So I hope that's not the case with this. And the fact it bothers me that this show already is going to be in 2 parts. The first part is 6 episodes and part 2 is 4. So
part 2 is only 4?
I believe so. 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's 10 episodes this series.
That's dumb.
But maybe that might work. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, and I could be wrong. I mean, when they showed the extended trailer and they showed some of part 2, I really liked it. It looks good. I don't know.
I didn't see that trailer.
You never saw that trailer?
Not one with a part 2, no?
Yeah.
Really?
Maybe we should bring that up and I see your reaction for the first time.
Get it up.
Yeah, no, I like the look of it, and I think most of it's going to be in black and white, which is kind of cool. So it gives you that like 40s 50s vibe, the whole area 51. I love that. I think that's great. So I'm kind of excited about that. And again, Ryan Murphy, when he's good, he is on point, and I just feel like right now with this one, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think the idea of it is interesting, double feature. But my thing with that is kind of like, was he like, oh, I haven't got enough ideas for one series, so let's just make 2 short series. And I'm kind of like, if that's the case, unless you're going to tell 2 really good stories, it's bad enough to have 1 mediocre story. Don't give me 2 mediocre stories. Either give me 1 amazing story or give me 2 interesting short stories. You can do it. Look, there are shows where you could have a good 3-part, 3-hour interesting movie.
No, I totally agree.
I mean, Dead Set, which is one of my favorite miniseries of all time, and I always go on about it, was only 6 episodes. I think 6.
I still need to watch that because Liam's
God.
like, you know what? Maybe I'll watch that today. Maybe I'll
at least watch the first episode. I know for you it'll be different because you won't know. Well, because it is there are people in it that are not the main people, but there are cameos and people who are Big Brother contestants. So you might not necessarily know who they are. So you might not, but the story itself, I mean, that won't make. Oh, shit.
That's good.
That won't make too much of a difference. And also the host of the show is actually was the host of Big Brother.
Oh, get out!
So yeah, so that was really cool. But anyway,
I like that. That sounds like fun.
But that was
and it's on Netflix.
Yeah, my point to that was that that's only 6 episodes, and that did a really good job of executing a story. So I would hope that with part 1 being 6 episodes, it can execute a good story. But then I also remember who's behind it, and then I also remember Glee, and then I just start to cry. So look,
Glee wasn't bad.
Glee is extremely tone deaf to the point of like you would never get away with that now.
No, you wouldn't. Hold up. When you say something like that, though, you've got to look at so many other things too that like they did back in the 60s, 70s. Yeah, there's so much that you can't.
And they were in the 60s and 70s. That was in 2010s. Okay, and we had the one Asian girl singing Gangnam Style,
which was funny.
Which was awful, and they were so tone deaf. I'm not going to say it was. The first series.
I'm not saying it was the best thing ever by any means, but I still watched it. I still enjoyed it, except the last season that was pretty shit, like really shit. Like he just gave up.
The best part about Glee was that dramatic part when Quinn got hit by a truck, and it was like Final Destination, and I was like, "What the fuck was that?" But anyway, look, we're going on a tangent. But I'm just saying, American Horror Story, Ryan Murphy. I mean, I actually to be honest with you, I'm going to be truthful. Can we be open here for a minute, Yutaka?
Absolutely.
I haven't seen Ratchet because I'd heard a lot of bad things.
Ooh, well, don't cancel me, people, but Ratchet is pure shit.
Okay, so I won't be watching it then. My friend was watching it at the time, and she was voice messaging me all the time after she was like, I've watched episode 3, and then she was just kind of like, yeah, I haven't watched anymore. So I would just never got round to watching it.
I will tell you, Ratchet had some really fun, memeable moments, or just some fun interactions, and even some quite scary moments. Um, I will say it was also very lush and looked beautiful, but it was not good. It did get me to watch, the original One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So that was good.
That film's fantastic.
I'd never seen it, and that made me hate Ratchet even more, because I'm like, oh my God. I was like, this is not what I expected. And whatever, it's Ryan Murphy. But
I think, talking about him, we need to go to probably one of the most iconic moments that's ever happened in pop culture that happened last week, and that is this moment here.
Oh, God.
Picture, because I've had about just enough. You have? I've had about just enough with the 14,000 franchises: American Horror Story, American Boo Boo Story, America's Crime Story, American Canada Story, American Sports Story, American Love Story, American Horror Story Anthology, American... Did you see the trailer for American Crime Story? Feature, American Crime Story, American Featured. Here's what I like about it: American Horror Stories. It's fun because every chunk is its own thing. Mary, new stories, honey, new actors. Sorry, that's every series. But that's what I mean is actors. But that's what I mean is now there's no attempted continuity. There's no dental floss holding these stories together because they don't have right, because they previously did.
They're not wrong. I love Trixie and Katya, and they're not wrong. Because, let's talk American Horror Stories then. Yeah. Let's talk it. That was pure, absolute shit.
It was bothersome to me. I was so excited for the idea of it. I kind of enjoyed the first episode. I was kind of like, oh, okay. But then that could have just been the nostalgia for Murder House for me. But everyone really liked that. What was the one? Is it called Feral? With the kid. With
I did like Feral.
That didn't appeal to me.
Really?
No, I was. No, it was just. Well, it was just The Hills of Eyes, wasn't it? So.
Okay, that's true. That is fair. I liked Feral because as far as everything else, I thought it was just poorly done, and I thought Feral was done really good, and I loved. I don't know. I really loved it. I kind of saw that ending coming. But I still, of all of them, I liked Feral more.
Out of all of them, I probably liked Drive Through more, or Drive In.
I loved the intro to Drive In.
But let me get close to the mic for this. The utter disrespect to Naomi Grossman by putting her in that role is unforgivable. I will not have her misused like that. You get also excited. She is like the biggest American Horror Story fan out there, and then you do that to her. I was like, she did a TikTok telling and she smelled Evan Peters. All right, that's the type of person we need in this show.
I did actually enjoy that.
But I love zombies, so that kind of was the vibe.
Adrienne Barbeau was in Last Drive-In, so yes. And she's iconic.
Yes.
So I like Last Drive-In and I liked Feral, but that social remember media episode was just bad.
Yeah, and awful. People, was it Ben actually, slag him off while he's not here? Was it Ben that said that he liked it because it kind of said how bad social media was? It was just a bad episode. It was nothing to do with. It was just stupid.
Yeah, agreed.
And I understand they were portraying those types of people. They were portraying the Jake Pauls or whatever, but it just didn't need to be an episode. And my man was just kind of wasted as Santa. I was like, you brought him over from Machete to do this? I thought it would have been more better to have the guy, what's his name?
Ian McShane.
Yeah, Ian McShane to come. And obviously, no, it would have been a different, but it could have been like a ghost. You know what I mean?
If Ian McShane would have came back, I would have lost it. That might have made me enjoy the episode just a little bit.
Like the spirit of that guy, yeah, because he was so good in that.
We are going on tangents, but I love it.
It's fine. This is just like an American Horror Story, like catch up.
Yeah. I also hated American Horror Stories actually killed Murder House. Not that what they did in the end, but in general, like I'm tired of that setting. I'm tired of those stories.
Yeah.
You've now officially killed it. I don't want to ever look at Murder House or see Murder House again because it's shit.
Well,
and I keep saying that. I'm so sorry, but it is.
My thing with Murder House and what they could have, and I'd said this briefly on Twitter after the final episode, and obviously it's spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen American Horror Stories, but that last episode had so much potential. It could have had so much potential. You could have got, don't tell me, well, maybe not Jessica, but that's fine. You could have got away with that. You could have got the cast back for that one episode. You could have got the original cast back, and I loved the idea, and I kind of said this, everyone's sort of bored of Murder House now. And when we say that, we mean the idea of it, not the original. Oh my God, sorry, that's the ghost. Not the original series. That's Ryan Murphy's just broken into my house. The original series is still iconic and I could watch that 100 times, but the idea of bringing it back constantly. What I would have done, this is a what if episode. What I would have done is I would have had, somebody, a new family, the new family moves into the house. Okay. Do that.
Okay.
And still have the couple of characters from the first American Horror Stories 2 episodes. That's fine. But have all of the cast from AHS Murder House come back, all of the ghosts. Okay. The one, as many as you can get, not the one that everyone hates. Okay. So get them back. And I know it's already been done with Return to Murder House, but you want to give it an ending. It needs to have a good ending. And what you have is you have the family, the parents murdered of the new family in the house, and the child, whoever it is, escaping the house. And, throughout this whole episode, and at the end, there's this whole thing about, this theory that it needs to be burnt down. And he starts, lighting it on. He gets ready. He puts all the stuff out. It's get ready to burn down. But he's like, he can't do it. He can't do it. He sees the parents and he sees everyone and he can't do it. And then a hand is placed on his shoulder and it's Jessica Lange. Because, of course, now she did not die because of the whole switcheroo of Apocalypse. We won't get into that. But she comes up to him and she takes the lighter or whatever it is. And she says, I have had enough distress and murder in my life to last me 1,000 lifetimes. And she sets it on fire. And then she walks into the fire to be with Tate and everybody. And hang on, we need to be in the moment. So she's walking. Let me just do that bit again. So she says, I have had enough death. And do you like my accent, by the way? Enough death to last me a lifetime of sadness. And then she takes the thing, she lights it on, and then as she walks in, and the house burns down. And it zooms out, and the house is just burning. And that's the ending. And that's it. We never go back to Murder House. Thank you. Call me Ryan Murphy. Let's sort it. We'll do a Christmas special where that happens. Because the house never burnt down, or did it? And what happened? What happened with the fucking ball at the end and the ghost? Was it a game? Was it not? You didn't execute it.
You don't feel good about that. You're pretty pissed.
But because it could have been so good, and I'm just like, it's not difficult. Surely it can't be that difficult to, or even, do you know what? Not even get half the cast back. Get a few of them back, and then just have, them have have some lookalikes in the back all walking into the house as it burns. Do you know what I mean? Like, do that so you feel like everyone's there, not just have fucking Dylan McDermott there and then 7 people who are from American Horror Stories. Like, you don't understand. People might not watch American Horror Stories,
and they shouldn't.
No, but then so that's why I think they egged out at the end, and they didn't really say if it had burnt down or not, because they were like, oh, people don't see this. At least we can come back to it again. Look, yeah.
Sorry, I had to quench my thirst.
It was from that. He's just absolutely gagged and gooped by that Oscar-winning performance of Jessica Lange's Constance Langdon that I just did then.
It was, oh, it was so Razzie worthy.
I have had enough to last me a lifetime. Shut up, Billy Dean.
What the hell?
That's
kind
what
of
she sounds
accent-
like. I'm Constance Langdon, and this is my fucking house. That's
Sure.
what she sounds like, and nobody can say otherwise. I could have done the voice for you. I bet you could have had, not even had Jessica there, just had, somebody look like her, and then I could have dubbed over. I have had. Anyway. But
That's
yeah, anyway,
horrible.
double feature. First 2 episodes.
They're just meh. I will still keep watching because I do want to see where it goes, but I love the setting. Tuberculosis Karen, how dare they? Poor Sarah Paulson. And if she has TB, I just want it to be known that it is highly, highly contagious and you really can't be around her. So that better just be a name, because then that's stupid.
Yeah.
I laughed. I was like, TB, what? Like, what? No, she better not. Because then she'd infect the whole goddamn town. They'd all be dead.
Maybe they are.
I mean, oh God, let's not pull a Lost, people.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, look, I'm open to seeing how this series develops. I think, like most of the series of American Horror Story, there is potential. Whether that potential is ever realized is another question.
So I guess then from the first 2 episodes, I already know the answer, but I'm still going to ask, who was your favorite character?
That's a really tough one for me. There's so many, great characters, but obviously it's Austin Summers.
Jesus.
Because I mean, but there is no he's the best character. It's not even he was the most entertaining, the most interesting. He had a great house. I actually ordered some pajamas that looked like his the other day after I watched the episode. Some nice black satin pajamas. He looked amazing. He was fabulous.
Yeah. All right.
What about you?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't him.
Ridiculous.
I enjoyed his character, but for me, I think it was also more just to see him back on screen was Mickey. I loved Macaulay Culkin. Yeah. I think he was fun. Kind of funny with some of his little come-ons to Finn Wittrock. What's his name? Harry. I was dying over that, and that was funny. And he seems like he has an interesting story. And I wonder what his possible connection is to Ursula, because I think there might be one.
Yeah, because there was an image of them, wasn't there?
Yeah. So I think for me right now, he was my favorite. I do love Evan. I actually even enjoyed the little song that he had with Belle Noire. That was actually
Baby,
fun.
when I met you, there was peace and love. Yeah, but from a British person perspective, nobody else will get this unless you're British. It reminded me of, actually, the Americans created a terrible version, but Gavin and Stacey. There is a scene in which, it's like a great James. Unfortunately, James Corden's in it, but this was before he was annoying. This was like what made him famous. Was
okay.
But yeah, they do. There is a scene where they go to a barn dance and 2 of the characters sing that song, Islands in the Stream. So now every time I hear that song, I always remember that. But yeah, that was him and Belle Noire. That was a great introduction scene for those characters, I think. So
I loved it. I thought it was great. Like I said, and yes, Lily Robb, probably the most annoying right now, aside from the kid, because that kid makes me want to slap her.
Yeah.
No.
Her and her mother are both quite annoying.
Yeah.
Well, I think the whole family is, to be honest. I'm not really bothered about any of them.
That's actually very true. They're probably the weakest of the story. So we'll see. I will continue. I'm really looking forward to part 2, but I'll continue this, and I hope it gets better.
And the only thing is that the story that they're telling with this family kind of reminds me of the story in Hotel, but just they've swapped the parents round so that the dad and the daughter are vampires now rather than the mother and the son.
Ooh, I didn't think of that.
And so I don't know and is she going to end up being like the one who has to go out and get, stuff? I don't know. We'll see what her reaction is, because obviously we only saw the ending. But yeah, that's what I was kind of like, oh, this is just gender bending series 5. But
Poor Ryan Murphy. He's doing too much. He's
He's
got all these shows. And I want to be like, dude, focus on American Horror Story right now, because that's what I miss. When American Horror Story is good, it is on fire. Like the Murder House, amazing. Coven, brilliant in my opinion.
Series 1 to 4 was the top tier. Well, series 4 for me was the bit where I was kind of like, it started to dwindle. But series 1 to 3 to me was like, that was the perfect trilogy.
Yeah, and I know right now, like Sarah Paulson's is Muse, which I'm okay with because I love Sarah Paulson. She is a phenomenal actress. Just can't believe they did that to her.
I'm looking forward to Impeachment and seeing what she's like in that as well, and that story. But yeah, I feel like he's just doing a lot, and I'm like, you can't create all of these, and I get it. You make your money, go for it. I'm not to be doing that, but at least don't let it all be mediocre.
And also just I wouldn't mind just a little bit more of a horror element to this. I don't know, like there's the creep factor. By all means, it is creepy. I love the setting. It's eerie, but it's not so much scary, where I remember watching like the first, like you said, the first few seasons, and I could tell there were moments that were kind of like it gets under your skin, and just I don't feel like we have that yet.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a shame.
For me, I don't think I've ever been like, scared of American Horror Story. But yeah, to add maybe more horror elements would be nice. So we'll see. As I say, at this point, we've only seen the first 2 episodes. So the last 4 could, change everything. We don't know. They could
You're
really...
not scared at the series, but you're emotionally moved. You'll cry.
I'll cry. And
it's never been that deep of a show.
When Jessica, you cannot tell, and actually the only 2 times I've actually cried properly are 2 Jessica Lange moments, and that is when Sister Jude dies in Asylum at the end, and she's saying goodbye to the kids, and Evan Peters is there. It's all very sad. Just had to get his name in. And then also in American Horror Story Freak Show, when she says goodbye to Pepper and she's leaving her, and she's like, if you cry, then I cry, and then look what happened to my mascara. And it's just so sad, and she's crying. And at the end, you see her on the... Sorry, was that you laughing at my German accent?
It was.
Every European accent I try and do, I've got a French friend, and I always try to do a French one. He was like, you literally sound German. So and then I try and do a German one, don't. But you know what I mean? That scene, that episode, Orphan, was a fantastic episode, probably my favorite episode of series 4. And that ending when she sees Elsa Mars, she's in the asylum, Lily Rabe came back for that nice little cameo, that made me cry as well. So for those only 2 times I've like really cried. Yeah, but I still really enjoyed it, and I would honestly still say it's probably the only show that I watch religiously. I used to watch The Walking Dead, and then that just disappeared. I don't want to get off on a tangent because I could talk about that for days, but that just didn't. I remember sitting down the first episode of series 1, so excited about that. I love the first 4 or 5 seasons, and obviously Ben's currently watching it at the moment, so I don't want to give too much away. But yeah, towards the end, it just wasn't for me. It kind of lost.
I've only seen the first 2 seasons of The Walking Dead.
And I would honestly keep it that way, to be honest with you, darling.
That's what I couldn't get through that one. That second season was rough.
Yeah, series 2 is difficult.
The 3rd season picks up. I go, no, I'm good. This one took it out of me. Like I was so annoyed because that first one was great.
Yeah.
Which again, let's put it like that's Ryan Murphy to me. Like his first seasons are always just so good. And then his next
apart
one's
from
like
The Politician.
Ooh, And the Hollywood.
And Hollywood.
No.
Yeah.
Not a fan here, people.
To be honest, the only thing I like of Ryan Murphy's is American Horror Story.
I
never saw Feud though, so
Feud is good, but American Crime Story, O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, I never watched. Actually, no, I watched one scene because I wanted to see the kids, Kardashian kids, so that's all I watched.
That one. Speaking of horror films, I actually did just watch He's All That. Yeah.
Oh, Kourtney Kardashian's in that, isn't she?
Took some life off of me. It's so bad. But I would say that is his finest work. American Crime Story.
O.J. Simpson.
It really is. It's so well done. The acting, like, I was going to be so pissed if Sarah Paulson didn't sweep the awards, and she did, and deservedly. It is truly, truly masterful. And I'm like, damn, Ryan Murphy, that's when you're good. And then we get The Politician. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, and I really love Ben Platt, but that was just not the one. And I was like, and I also love Bette Midler as well. And I was kind of like,
you have Bette Midler, Judith Light. You can't tell me like
I didn't get through. I did watch all of series 1, and the ending of series 1 kind of got me excited. But then series 2, I couldn't get into it personally. I watched like 2 episodes, and then I was like,
yep. I'm with you on that. Like that the whole reason I thought like, oh, maybe I'm okay with Politician was because the setup for season 2.
Yeah. I mean, this episode of the podcast probably is going to be called Yutaka and George Talk Shit about Ryan Murphy for 1 hour straight.
It should be.
Listen, Ryan, if you ever find your way listening to this, I think you do have a talent, and I do think that you can be amazing. I just think you should slow down, babe.
Yeah, and I would like to ask if you could maybe cast some more. Actually, just cast an Asian person for once. That'd be nice.
Or if you're looking for somebody, if there's a storyline where, let's just say Evan Peters' character is happily married, lovingly, constant love and attention scenes, and you're looking for that person to be, there, I do think that I could fulfill that role for you. Just don't give it to Yusuf.
As you show your leg this entire time as you say that. No.
Let's start to wrap some of this up because we.
Let me put it this way: Ryan Murphy, I enjoy his work. I just find myself rolling my eyes a lot, but I still finish the seasons, so he's still getting my views.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, which this isn't horror, guys, but she was an American Horror Story. What he's done for Angela Bassett, or what Angela Bassett has also done for herself, because she is a goddess who does not age, in my opinion. And please come back to American Horror Story just once. Is now the highest paid freaking actress on TV because of her the show that Ryan Murphy specifically created for her. And that's 911. And so I love to hear that. And I'm really like, he does some awesome things. And 911 is actually pretty cool.
But he did do a dirty in American Horror Story Apocalypse when he brought her back for that like 5 seconds.
Right.
I was like,
oh,
really?
I was so pissed. I was like, you did not just, she'd put up a bigger fight. I was so mad.
Yeah. But yeah, I was. And the way she walked into that room, you needed the help of a powerful voodoo queen. I was like, yeah, she's here.
Yes. And then we're like,
and 5 seconds later, and then when she like gets him in the neck, out with the trash, give Papa my regards. I'm like, she's fantastic.
Yeah, she needs to come back to American Horror Story. If they ever, I know, get this, there's still 2 additional seasons left of this show.
This show could have been, I like the idea of it being 7 seasons and each one was a different circle of hell. And that should have been it. Because that's what somebody had sent that to him and he'd reshared it and been like, interesting. Because there was a list of each one and like the series that connect to it. And I think there was like, it was when we were on series 5 and then so there were 2 left. I can't remember which ones were. And they should have just done that. And then it could have been nice. And then I was like, okay, let's go to 10 series. And then series 10 could be the ending, the last one. And, let's do a cool like hurrah and maybe give a nice ending to Murder House, and that was it, and and whatever. But
We're
then
not
now
getting that.
now we're getting series like 12 and 13 and all that, and I'm kind of like, I don't know how much longer this can go on for. I mean, obviously, idea wise, it can, but whether it can sustain, it's a bit like Doctor Who over here. It needs. It's been on for years and it's great, but sometimes it needs a boost, and you need to give it something for this to be fresh and new. Because right now, I don't think it drags in new people. I think it's still got the not the database. Jesus, that's a bit technical. The audience. Sorry, it's been a busy week at work.
I want to say, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing some fresh blood. I wouldn't mind seeing maybe some fresh stories, because I just don't feel like I'll be honest, when he put that poll out, I was like, really? That tells me you don't have any ideas.
Yeah.
Which that makes me nervous, because whatever that is, you're going to just suddenly, I'm going to create something. And that's what's happened. And this is what we got. So I hope it gets better. This sounds like I hate it. I don't hate it. I'm just,
we've only seen 2 episodes, so we can't fully, but yeah, from that, let's hope that things pick up. And as I say, I am interested to see where the story goes. I'm not sat here. I'm looking forward to next week. I'm thinking, oh,
I agree.
Which reminds me, I've just pulled up that teaser there, so I need to watch it. But
let's watch it. I'll watch it with you, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay, let's go.
How about that? Because the teaser's really good. I cannot wait for part 2. That looks so damn good. So good.
Let me pull this up.
Oh, I love this.
Okay, let's have a look then.
All right.
Here we go.
This season on AHS double feature. We don't really live in this world. We feed off of it.
I could really use some inspiration.
Once you sell your soul, it's gone.
What the hell is that?
Wherever you come from, listen to me. Stop the killing.
Mr. President, it is you who will listen to us.
Aliens.
Bloodsuckers.
Mother of God.
Boom! It's breaking all the rules, and I'm here for that.
Our world is fragile. I just want to go back to my normal life.
Time is running out for both our people. We need to create something better. Part human, part us.
Yeah, Evan Peters isn't in part 2. What are you shaking your head at?
You're judging the show just based on Evan Peters.
Well, I think that gave a lot away. We obviously now know that. Well, that's interesting, because that part when, obviously, if you're listening, we did show the video, by the way, guys, so you'll have to go over to the YouTube channel if you want to see the actual video if you haven't seen already. That scene where they're all jumping on each other in California. Oh, and what a surprise, it goes back to California. Can't have an episode where they're not somewhere in LA. That looks like the scenes from Drive-In.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
At the end, when they were all.
I hope he does not connect that universe. Jesus Christ, let's not.
Well, surely he can't, because that was like a zombie apocalypse. Like at the end. So, like, how was that? Anyway, I'm not getting to. But anyway, so talking about that promo, it looks interesting. I really like the look of the part 2. To be honest, I've always been interested in aliens and things, so that's kind of my vibe. I'm interested to know who was saying that at the end, that we need to create something that's part human, part them. Or part
look up who that actress was. I don't know.
The voice I was trying to hear, it doesn't sound like Angelica Ross.
No, it is definitely one of the new actresses. I don't think it was. Is Kaya Gerber in that? I can't remember. I feel like he's using her again, which is fine.
Because she's not on, unless it's that Robin Welger as Martha.
Oh, that's possible.
I didn't see Chad Michaels in the teaser.
Right. You got me all excited, and that's what happens. Let's see here. Oh, it might have been Kaya Gerber. What? Craig Sheffer's in that? I'm down for that. Okay. What? They're having a Marilyn Monroe?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize it was.
Yeah, because it's set during the 50s, isn't it?
Oh wow.
Like Roswell
Lily
and all that.
Rob. Lily Rob is playing Amelia Earhart, so that
Yeah.
means we'll see her for like 2 seconds.
Well, but she might come. She was in what, the 19, what year did she disappear? 1937. And that's not set in 1937. So maybe she comes back. Maybe she was abducted by aliens. And that's why she disappeared. And then she comes back in the 50s, like the Bermuda Triangle.
Okay. That's.
But it also says, but this should be Wikipedia, Part 2, Death Valley, Angelica Ross as the chemist.
What?
But that could just be somebody on Wikipedia doing that. So I'm not taking that by.
I don't know about that. Either way, part 2 to me looks really fun. I like the stylistic choices that they're choosing. I'm here for part 2. But yeah, I like I said, I'll keep watching. I hope it gets better for me. It's not, I wouldn't say it's absolute shit. This is not,
I would say these 2 episodes were better than probably the first 2 episodes of the most recent few series. Like Apocalypse, the first 2 episodes were boring, and 1987 weren't that great. I did enjoy 1987, but yeah, I think for
1984, and that first episode of 1984 was such a great homage to the Friday the 13th series. I loved it. Honestly, 1984. Oh my God. I've watched that episode over and over just because it's so good.
About 1978.
That's still our most listened to, bitch.
Out of Fear Street. Get over it. People,
you're the one who's jealous.
I'm not. Do I look upset to you?
You're just mad because it's doing better.
I don't care. I just don't like. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Overall, I think it's got potential. As I say, I probably enjoyed these 2 episodes more recent than the recent couple of episodes. I think it's starting a good story. Let's see where it goes. I'm interested to see when the new characters come in, and I'm looking forward to seeing if part 1 and part 2 do link in any way. If there is some sort of
that's a call
crossover, or if they are just 2 separate series. So yeah, that's my final thoughts. Yutaka, any final thoughts from you?
I'm kind of with you on that. Like, again, I don't hate it. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I would like to see where it goes. I obviously love seeing some characters come back. I just, as you said, I would love to see some new blood, which I think we'll get in part 2. But I'm curious to see again where it goes. I'm really excited also just because Macaulay Culkin's back, and I think he's freaking fabulous in this. He's cracking me up. Him and Ursula or Leslie Grossman. That whole screenplay phone call, I was rolling. So I will continue to watch. I hope it picks up, and I hope, since it's in 2 parts, we get a good ending for both.
Yeah, unless Angelica Ross is like an alien.
Ooh.
And she created that pill. And then we see her. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, for me,
she's so badass. She looks so gorgeous. I'm so excited to see her back on my screen.
She's amazing. So yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to seeing what the series has got. Fingers crossed it's decent. And yeah, we will see. So thank you, everybody, so much for listening. We hope you had a pleasant time. If you
Ryan Murphy, don't cancel us.
Yeah, come on the pod if you want, Ryan. We can talk it through.
Right.
Just bring Evan. As always, you don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Horror Hour TV. We just surpassed 300 followers on Twitter, which is fabulous. So you better all be listening. And over like 120 subscribers on YouTube. So it's pretty cool. So yes, we will see you all again next week. Have a wonderful time. And yeah, bye guys.
Bye.